How to do it. Let me show you how to do it.
Hi guys, so today I'm making this video to kind of educate you guys on the water softener system. You guys may have received a quote from somebody if you're watching this video, and they may have quoted you anywhere close to like $8,000 to $10,000 for them to install a water softener system or a filtration system. So first thing first, guys, is stay away from those people. They're charging you outrageous amount of money. My entire system that you see over here is around like $1,000, and you can accomplish this task by yourself. I kind of made a separate video how to do the installation and how to set everything up. So I'll leave the link in the description below if you want to see how exactly to install it, where to get it from, and things like that. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the benefits and what are the things that you want to stay away. So number one is stay away from these people at these big companies. I don't want to name any companies, but there are out there that you call them and they give you a code and they test your water, the tap water. They bring in the bottled water and they show you the big difference, from your fridge filter. And then they tell you, hey, your water turned green, it's nasty. The water coming into your home is not safe for drinking, and it's just a bunch of BS. And the reason I say that is because the city water is completely safe for you guys to drink, right off the tap. It's not harmful. When they send out the city water to your home water line, they make sure it's safe for you guys to drink. They're not going to put in something that's harmful because they don't want to get sued. And so the water coming in your house is obviously very safe. Yes, it does have some bacteria and other minerals that are mixed in the water, and those are the things that you can really remove from the water by having a water softener and proper filtration system. So normally, if you get the water, home water tested, it probably have some kind of hardness. In Florida, our hardness is anywhere from 7 to 10, and then of course your pH level, and basically the water hardness is what minerals you have mixed in the water, and it's magnesium, calcium, that are a part of the water, and that's what basically is, that's what makes your water hard. That's why when you wash your dishes, you see those white marks on the glass, or your bathroom showers. So again, those things can be removed by a water softener. Once your water is softened, it's much nicer on your skin. You feel much softer because you don't have those harsh chemicals. It's really good on your hair. So I just love soft water. It just makes me feel good. And even the taste for drinking is much better. So you're just improving the quality of your tap water. Now, is it recommended? I don't know about the recommendation, but you're gonna love it. Once you have a soft water system, you're never gonna go back to hard water. It just makes such a big difference. Now, if you have never experienced soft water, you're probably never gonna know what the differences are. But as soon as you start using soft water, you're gonna see tremendous improvement. Now it does elongate the life of your water heater, other appliances in the house. You don't get that calcium scaling and things like that, on your fridge and anywhere you're getting water. Your taps to stay clean, and it's just so much more benefit for the soft water. So over here I have a system. This is this particular brand. This is the A.O.Smith water softener. I got the 45,000 grain capacity. This is recommended for 4+ household size, and we are 4 in the family, so I think it's perfect for us, and even if I have guests over, it's good to get a little bit higher side. You don't want to get something smaller because, the higher the better. So I picked it up from Lowe's. These things go for about like $600. Sometimes you may find them on sale. I think mine was like $5.99 plus tax. I also got this central filter system. This is A.O.Smith as well. And this is a whole house water system. And the main purpose of this particular filter is to remove chlorine from the water. And of course, your household water does have chlorine to kill bacteria and things like that. So it's very beneficial. And chlorine is the one that really makes up your hair, mess up your hair and things like that. You feel it, you feel the smell, you smell the chlorine in the water. So I have this installed at the very entry of the house, where the main water line is coming in, and it's going in, removing all the chlorine. And once the chlorine is removed, it's going into the softener. So the chlorine is being removed right before the softener because it elongates the life of your softener, So let me show you what's inside. So inside you have this grain tank, and then you have this brine tank. This is called brine tank. This is where the salt is, as you can see. In my other video, I can explain the entire process, how to fill it up and how to set it up. But this brine tank have these very, very tiny particle of raisin beads, and those raisin beads are, the ones that are doing the ionic exchange of water, where the magnesium and calcium and everything is getting filtered and getting attracted to the particles that are in there, and then it's providing you clean, soft water from the pipe, and the soft water comes out from here. It goes into this filter, filters it out if any sediments or anything that might come from here, which it should not, but this is more like a safe filter, and it removes any sediments and things like that, and then it gets applied to the house, the main water house. So very simple process. Yes, you can do it yourself. I did the whole setup myself. It wasn't that bad. The entire setup, this thing was like around $40. This thing was about like $250, $300, so the whole setup is like about like $1,000, and then if you hire somebody to install this whole system, it's not rocket science. Somebody should not charge you anywhere from $200 to $300 maximum to do the installation, and you can buy the pipes and things like that on your own. I think everything, the material was like around like $150 or something like that. So again, $1,000 maximum, $1,200, this whole system, you can set it up yourself. Now, why did I choose A.O.Smith? There are different brands. I like this brand. A.O.Smith has been great. I've been using A.O.Smith products for a very long time. Plus, I'm using their filters, so I decided to just use one brand. One thing I love about them is their customer service is just amazing, Love their customer service, So they were very helpful for me to set it up. It does have this electronic setup, so it tells me everything. And this is connected to the Wi-Fi, so it's a great system. Again, this entire setup should be very simple, for you guys to use it. A few tips I'm going to give you if you're getting the same exact setup is to make sure you install unions, in your water filter, because this filter is good for 600,000 gallons of water or 6 years, so whichever one comes first. The way you keep track of how much water you have used is either by keeping track of how much water you're using from here. So right now, before it starts this brine process, cleaning regeneration process, I have to use about 3,982 gallons of water. That's one way of keeping track of it. Nowadays, you have digital meter in the outside, so just take a picture of the digital meter when you do the installation of this one, and just keep track of when you reach 600,000 gallons of water, and that'll give you an idea of, how much time you have left. Or, what I did was I put my date in September of 2021. I installed this, so I know after 6 years I'm going to replace it. So most likely I'm going to reach 6 years before I reach 600,000 gallons of water. You may want to install, this thing comes with it, so it's a great idea to install this shut-off valve. This turns the water for the entire house, so easy access to that. And this particular filter, you don't need to have unions over here, because this thing, the filter gets removed from here. It comes with this tool, and you can technically just remove this entire thing, right from here. You can even use this to open and close, because this thing is very hard, so you can use this to bypass it. So you can be in the filter mode, you can turn it off or bypass it. This thing did not come with two unions, so I had to go buy this union right here. So whenever I'm replacing this, I'm just going to go ahead and open it from here. I'm going to go ahead and open it from here, get this out of the way, and I can undo these settings, and just put it into the new one and plug this in. So it should be an easy swap, whenever I have to remove this. So that makes it much easier. You don't want to hard wire everything. Well, not really hard wire, but hard pipe everything. You can also use unions over here. This is a place where I did not use union. Yes, you can, it's just mine was going to be a lot more further if I use a union. I didn't want to do that, So, but the thing is, these things will last you many, many years, guys. These things can last you 10, 20 years, depending on how well you maintain them. So is it really needed? Not really. I think I'm good for 10 to 20 years, hopefully, out of this system. Now, a few things you may want to know about this system is they have different sizes. So if you have, if you're just two people in the house, you may not want to go with 45,000. They have different, I think 40,000, 35,000, different sizes. The reason I went with XSL is because if I have guests over and things like that, is the smaller the tank and the less the resin is, the more frequent the regeneration process is going to be. I call these systems dumb systems because they don't know anything. All they're monitoring is the flow of water. And this system is telling this brain, but it's just telling when to start the regeneration process. So let me go into a little bit regeneration process. What exactly is that, right? So when the water is flowing through the tank and is making the water soft, basically, what it's doing is doing the ion exchange, so the magnesium, calcium, those ions are getting a stick to the beads that are in there. At some point, those beads are going to get saturated, and they're not going to be able to soften the water anymore, So at that point, what you need to do is kind of like wash those beads, right? You have to kind of backwash it. And regeneration process is kind of like backwashing those beads, kind of regenerating those beads back to its original position, And the way the system does it, it starts the regeneration process. The water kind of goes in and just kind of stir the beads up, and it's just not regular water, it's salt water. And that's how they get regenerated, So those salt ions, they get mixed up with those beads and kind of help them release the ions that are stick to it, the magnesium and calcium. And they just take those and just kind of wash it off, And where does it go? It comes off from this pipe right here that you see. So it gets all the wastewater kind of gets dumped outside the house, in your drain pipe, and it gets rid of the water. So the regeneration process, you want to make sure those are plugged in properly into a drain line, because if they're not, is you may be dumping it into your plants, and and basically it's very, very heavy salt water with a lot of contamination and magnesium and calcium ions, particles. So it may be bad for your plants. So you may want to drain it properly. Does it require extra water to do that? Yes, of course it does, but depending on how frequent you do it, in my case, depending on how fast or how much water you use, for me, I have to use 4,000 gallons of water before it requires regeneration. Now, this number can change depending on how hard your water is. So if your water is 25 GPG, which is gallons per, I'm not sure exactly, but if your water is 425 or 25 GPG or 425 ppm, you have to set it up, what your water hardness is. So if your water is too hard, of course, the beads will get used more often, and then the regeneration process needs to be more often. So it all depends on how much water you're using, how hard your water is, and that's what determined by the computer that how much regeneration you really need. So the amount of water that's going to use to regenerate, it does take some water, to clean up the resin beads. And normally this time frame for regeneration is recommended when you're sleeping, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, when nobody's using the water. That's when you want to do the regeneration process, so it does not interfere with anything else, That's pretty much it. It's a very simple machine. I call it dumb machine. It just does its job, and by the water flow, it knows when to regenerate, and it just kind of sends you alerts when you have low salt level. Now, salt level is very critical and important, because if you just keep an eye on the salt, this thing does alert you. That's the reason I like this machine, because it sends you email and things like that when your salt level is low. But this is plenty of salt for regeneration. I don't like to fill it up all the way to 3/4. I'll leave it at 1/4, so you don't put too much stress on the cabinet and everything. So far I am loving it. It is great. I think it's the best investment for the amount of money that you're spending, and the quality of water you're getting is just well worth it. So guys, hopefully this video helps you guys. Again, you want to see the installation video, check out the link in the description below. Thank you.